Hello, women. This is Lada from Radiant Yin, and it's Wednesday, 19th of November. This is the time of truth, like deep, deep transformation. The underworld is open. I've had an incredible journey yesterday into the underworld, and I wanted to talk to this because any awakened woman walks two words at once, the word of seen and the word of unseen. The word of seen, we can call it the muscular, and the word of unseen, we can call it the feminine. It's the depth, is the darkness, is meeting yourself in your raw truth, not any masks, not any pretense, not, I'm gonna say this thing to their face, but then I'm gonna gossip and tear them and freaking energetically violate them while they're not around. That's not integrity. That's pretending you're something you're not. And if this is what you're working on, where you abandoned yourself in order to be liked, not to challenge your fear of loneliness, um, or if you have all these pictures that, oh, if I have a big tribe, that I'm lovable, then it means I'm worthy. This is all coming out. You will be faced with this right now. So if this new moon is a bit dodgy and it's a bit rocky, it means you're releasing, you're shedding a lot of false, I can almost say behavior patterns or adaptive strategies. And I recently heard a gorgeous thing that really resonated. If you were born a true intuitive and also empathic, meaning feeling being, we often chose narcissistic parents, one or two. And the wound then becomes self-abandonment. Because the narcissistic parent wasn't able to see a child and allow the child to be a child, they would make any normal child behavior about themselves. It's inconvenient for me. You need to change it. You need to stop it. There's something wrong with you. And so as deep intuitive feeling humans, we are walking around with this picture there's something wrong with me. And if I want to have relationships, if I want to be successful, I need to bend myself in a million different shades, put myself in a mold, and never really completely be who I am because ultimately there is that true deep belief that's seeded in ourselves from childhood. Oh, there's something wrong with me. And so what happens is then we will create relationships that will reflect that. Uh, for me, how it looked like was that I was manifesting a lot of people that weren't in their own integrity. They would say something to somebody to their face, and then they would gossip and tear them right behind. But the mask is the love and light, love and light. We're better than everybody. We're gonna tell everybody how to behave. And it used to drive me nuts until I realized that I wasn't in my integrity. I would zip it when they were saying a bunch of shit that I didn't resonate with. And that freed me. And I can tell you that any awakened human, including woman, needs to know how to stand on her own. If your self-worth, your sense of self-love comes from other people validating you, then it's not true self-love. It's not true self-respect. Self-love is a daily practice in and out, loving yourself. And where you can really know how much you love yourself is if there's not a bunch of people standing in your corner clapping, good job speaking your truth, good jobs that you're not convenient anymore, and then you're calling out shit in the word, that's when you know you love yourself. That's when you know you really truly are rooted within yourself. And that is our purpose. Our purpose is not out there. It's not build something out there that people will clap you for. It's not being the most popular person. Our purpose is to be completely ourselves, 100%. And that was the Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness has nothing to do with Christianity. That's just a bunch of lies and bullshit. Christ consciousness is the light of complete truth and love. And love is not love and light. There is no true connection if you're not in your own truth. The connections will feel off. They will be kind of, it's kind of off. Like I can't express this part of myself in this relationship because this person can't have it. So your light contains your truth, the truth of your essence. And we have yin and we have yang. And we were programmed into fearing of darkness, but darkness is the feminine, it's the night, it's the depth, it's the underworld. It's our ancestors, it's the yumminess of our sacred sexual energy. It's the yumminess of our true emotions, including your sacred rage, your sacred frustration. That's all part of it. And I've lived in American culture for 6 years, and there's just so much suppression around authenticity. There's a programming about likability, be liked. Don't be inconvenient, just shrink ourselves, just zip it, zip it, zip it. And so as I hold space for female circus, one thing I notice in women is they're silent. They don't express even a sound. There is this massive block around the throat chakra, around expressing the real truth of that person. And I can tell you 99% of women, what they really want to say is fuck you and fuck off. And that's the sacred rage. So anger shows us our boundaries. If somebody's crossing your boundaries and you're allowing it, anger is the energy that's informing you, I'm crossing my own boundaries. Like I can't live this lie anymore. And for me, because I've been working consciously with anger for a long time, which makes me inconvenient for people who are afraid of anger and people who really want to meet themselves in depth. They love people who get on their emotions, don't they? We love people who are authentic. So if you're drawn to this, there's part of you just wants to be really more real. And if you watch animals, we can learn so much from animals, and we still have animal bodies. We have animal bodies that we were separated from. We were told there's something wrong with them, they're shameful, they're less important. I see so many spiritual people completely bypassing the physical reality, thinking they're more spiritual, just judging others that are actually living it. Ignorance is another form of resistance. Spiritual bypassing in its essence is fear. Fear of meeting yourself, your physicality, your emotions. And the more you abandon yourself, the scarier it's going to be to descend to your personal underworld. The more you're meeting yourself truthfully and authentically, and the word is the most incredible place. And I will tell you why I love the underworld. No masks are allowed here. The only person you meet is yourself. So there's always a sacrifice when we're going to the underworld. And we need to let go of something that is no longer in alignment with us to be able to go deeper, to meet our ancestors, to meet the parts of ourself that were always sacred. But because of the systems on this planet, they were taken away from us. They were saying, oh, there's something to fear. There's nothing to fear. And have you noticed how many people are running around being scared of their own shadow? And what they don't understand is that our light is in our shadow. Shadow is part of our own medicine. The more you look into your shadow, there's no more shadow anymore. There's light and then there's dark. And it's not that light is good and dark is bad. We wouldn't have day without night. So many things are happening in the night. We wouldn't be alive if there wasn't death. And death is another portal. And I was around death. I helped people pass. I was present. I was very fortunate. And I can tell you that the same portal opens when a soul is born as when the soul is leaving this plane. Death is part of our sacred experience, and we're disconnected from it. A lot of people are still disconnected from that part. They're connected with youth and beauty, but not connected to aging, decay. I remember when I was about, I think 13, I read Zola, and he was really describing death and decay. But it was really interesting to read it because I was never really exposed to it until then. In our cultures, we hide people that are sick. In the culture where I was born, you wouldn't see disabled people. You didn't see people on the spectrum. Um, Communists would just hide them. There's something wrong with you. Like even in the word disabled, like what? This person is using completely different parts of themselves. And I worked for a woman that was a paraplegic. She was a member of British Parliament, and she was incredible. She lost her ability to walk during an accident, horse riding, but she used her power and she started really funneling it into something else. And she made so many incredible changes in the UK. Um, it's the same with blind people. You're not disabled, you have other gifts. There is nothing wrong with you. For those of you who are sensitives, empaths, intuitives, there is nothing wrong with you. We are the future. People like us are the future of humanity because this is what human means. We are knowing beings. We're seers. We see. We create. We are communicators. We speak. We express. Expression. Who I see this in female circus. Most women can't express. There are these collars of energy around their throat, and it takes years for a lot just to release and open and speak your truth, no matter what anybody thinks. Who the fuck cares what anybody thinks? It's your truth. That's why people who are really aligned with themselves can't tolerate people who are still deep in bullshit. Not in our private circles. You want people who are truth and real, because that's a reflection of who you are. The heart chakra, we're beings that are loving. And again, love is not love and light. When you truly descend in the depth of yourself, not only the heights, not only the spiritual la la land, and what I often actually see as dissociation. I'm going to dissociate from this part and call it enlightenment. So when you descend to the depth, when you descend to the roots, you start understanding that there is love in the depth. There is love in the roots. It's really deep what starts happening. Your heart opens and you start seeing spirit in everything. Everything is spirit. There is not a live nature and a dead nature. Stone has so much energy and information in it. Water is filled with information. It's a huge conduit of energy. Elements are alive. They're alive outside of ourselves and they are alive within. And we're manifestors. We have that personal power. Our third chakra is about taking on who you are and acting on it. And that's where, if you are dissociated from your physicality and you're bypassing parts of yourself, it's really hard for you to manifest. You're not acting on your highest truth. You might know it, you might have 50,000 sessions. I stopped working with clients because they didn't make any changes in their lives. Because if you're just doing spiritual work and you don't have guts to take it and create a change in your life, what it does, it creates dissociation. And then you have to keep living that lie longer and longer and longer. That's often where addictions come in. To be able to maintain something that's no longer in alignment with, we often Unable to be able to bypass it, there is some form of addiction. And it can be addiction to substances. It can be even addiction to plant medicine. It can be addiction to sex and addiction to food, addiction to validation from other people, being likable, addiction to people pleasing. That idea, oh, I'm just going to give love and then I'm going to just get it back. And it's a way of bypassing the fact that you're not giving any love to yourself. So again, self-love is day in, day out, loving yourself through changes, not conditioning your self-love by what's your age? Are you in a relationship? Is your business doing okay right now or not? How many friends do I have? How many people check on me every day? That is not self-love. That is self-abandonment. True self-love is loving yourself through any change, trusting that when you are on your path, meaning you're completely authentic, you're completely yourself, everything that's happening is always for your highest good. It's realignment, it's not punishment. If things are changing in your life right now, people are weeded out, maybe you need to change place where you live, or you're being called to do something else or doing it differently, you are aligning more and more with the truth of who you are. However, if you know that changes needs to be made and you're still trying to, maintain, like I want to just hold it together. Women are so good at it, right? Just that baby making machine. Or like, I'm just gonna hold it, I'm gonna protect it, I'm never gonna let it go. This is probably really rocky time. And again, it's your alignment. Nothing wrong is happening. It's actually the other way round. Uh, we're aligning more and more to who we truly are. And you can't live your purpose. You can't teach what you came here to teach if you haven't met the depth of yourself. And part of the depth is also feelings. How do I feel? And I've met so many people, and I used to be one of them. It's a survival response. Um, how is everybody else feeling? I just want to make sure that everybody's fine. Da, 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 da. And as long as the environment around me is safe, I can feel safe. This is self-abandonment. How do you feel in that situation? And you might be in a room of people that are loving lighting, and you might be freaking mad. That anger is showing you that there is a lie in the space. For me, when people bullshit, I get pissed, I get angry. And if you have been following spiritual path that made you judge any part of yourself, including any emotion you are authentically feeling, I would really rethink that. That's not gonna get you far. And sometimes people come to me that we have been studying different kinds of very deeply spiritual stuff and they get frustrated. Like, I've been doing it all. I've been running my energy, I've been blowing my pictures, I've been positively visualizing everything, and my life is a mess. It's not working. And it's because they're looking for it up above and avoiding parts of themselves. So path to spiritual awakening is not path of self-abandonment. The more you self-abandon yourself and the more you put your truth on the back burner, the more enlightened you are. It's bullshit. Doesn't work that way. The path to personal awakening is to be truly, authentically yourself before your body got programmed. You were told that there is something wrong with facets of yourself, and the only way you will be loved is to bend yourself in a shape that just doesn't feel right. And a lot of spiritual people are experiencing anger. A lot of women that come to my classes, they say, I come because you actually talk about emotions. And it's happening. And the reason why the anger is coming out is it's cleansing everything that's false in you. Everything that's false in you needs to be cleansed. It needs to be let go, shed. Often under anger is actually the truth hurt, the truth sadness. But we cannot come out of the victim unless we feel our anger. Then you're going to always turn it into blame. They did it to me. This person is doing this to me. You're in blame, you're in victim. You might have great story about it, but in the end of the day, we have to follow our own path. And if your truth is leave the situation, do it. That's when you can really learn to love yourself for yourself, not waiting for other people to clap you or validate you or love you, because now you're learning to do it for yourself. And that's very rare for women. It's very rare for women to be able to stand firmly in her own truth. And I can tell you, that's so scary for a lot of people, even other women, because they can't control you. Once you really firmly stand in who you are and your connection and your truth and your self-love is not a horizontal reflection. Oh, what is everybody doing? What are people thinking about me? That's control. That's not self-love, honey. Once you become really rooted in yourself, then your alignment is to your higher self, to the truth of your body, and to the truth of your being, then you can be controlled. Nobody can control you. And that's why the witch hunts happen, as the patriarchy during feudalism was settling and grounding. Women like us, awakened women, couldn't be controlled. We're the truth tellers. We call out lies. If it had happened to me, I might be the person that comes in the group and really, really tries hard to fit in, but you're aware of all the bullshit. And at some point, you just can't take it anymore. You call it out. And that's why really awakened people can be in cliques, because cliques are full of insecure people that are really scared of themselves. So they need a big pack of people to validate themselves. Truly awakened people stand on their own 2 feet and want other people around themselves to stand on their own 2 feet. You start understanding that you already are complete. There is nothing outside of you that can complete you. And if any relationship costs you your authentic truth and integrity, then that relationship is no longer aligned with who you are. And here comes the catch. This is where we got to be brave. And once you make that decision, keep sticking to it. How does that feel? Okay, there might be fear, there might be a bit of doubt, but how does that feel that I made that boundary? How does that feel that I changed that habit? How does that feel in me that I finally spoke my own truth? Go with that. That's your body responding to you. And our truth always feels good in our own system. And it doesn't matter what other people think about your truth. It doesn't matter if they validate your next step or not. Who cares? They create their own reality. But how does it feel for you? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel like, oh, I finally broke that goddamn pattern? Stick with it. Stick with yourself. Trust yourself. It's incredible. And this is the only way for us to really truly step into our power, is to be 100% authentically ourselves. And as I'm finishing today, this has been just coming through. I would like to read something from a tarot called Witch, Woman in Total Control of Herself. This is an incredible tarot that I can really recommend. It is for awakened women. And this morning, I pulled out the card Trailblazer, which is something that I've heard a lot since I started walking this journey. What is a trailblazer? The witch has shifted her allegiance from pleasing to pleasure, from subservient to subversive, through the very act of claiming her inner knowing as her highest authority. She is willing to abandon everyone else's expectation and approval before she will abandon herself. She has stopped fearing the path and started blazing it, loyal to the visions in her head and the longing of the heart. She trusts her intuition to guide her to the next right thing for her, even when she can't see the entire path or explain it to a mind of logic. Stop looking for the footprints of those who have gone before you. Don't settle for how it's been for others. Blaze your own trail. So, for those of you out there who are trailblazers, congratulations. Thank you.